And we are live again. What is up, everyone? James and Sailor Jupiter Fan 2001 back with the last stream of September to do, with the second to last stream of September to do. And this time is a stream for Flying Scotsman's Crash, which he had a couple of years back. So we'll get to that. All right, so rules are up and the link is up. Gonna start off with Tom Toysland. A very bopping like Bill and Ben theme. There's Isaiah. Just spawn some engines in the harbor. Napford Harbor it is. And so, when are the others going to get here? Links here for anyone who wants to join. There's Isaiah. This is one of Wilbert's jobs at the lead mine. As you know, I stay in cab over wheels like this. Like this. Like this.
One of Wilbert's first jobs was at the lead mine.
Don't pass the danger notice. I fell down a mine once.
Wait, where did that famous narrator come from?
It was from Bram Grote Films' video. I gotta respawn myself.
Oh, I love that.
There's Tom Toys. Near the lead mines. RWS Tidmouth Harbor. This Tidmouth, RWS Tidmouth Station. There's a TVS Tidmouth. And the spawn engines in this Tidmouth sheds. I think that's an odd fitting choice whistle for Wilbert. Just take a listen here.
What kind of whistle is that?
The new Wurlitzer train whistle.
Wait a
Or
minute, that's
pneumatic.
used for choo-choo. For choo-choo.
It's also used for a pneumatic type whistle.
It's also used for registries, Thomas.
Yep. I'm gonna try Wilbert down the mine. Which one? And yes, this stream does fall under fair use. Wilbert, one of Wilbert's jobs was at the lead mine. Leaving his trucks over there and going off to a mine for more.
Go. Long ago, miners digging for lead had made tunnels under the ground. Though strong enough to hold up trucks, their roofs could not bear the weight of engines.
What if it was like this? If Wilbert was like this.
Silly old board, he thought. He had often tried to pass it and he had never succeeded. But this morning he had made a plan. He had to push the empty trucks into one siding and pull out full ones from another. Come on, waved the fireman. The driver leaned out of the cab to see where they were going.
And then comes.
There's no danger. Stupid old board to come. There's no danger. There's no danger. There's no danger. There's no danger. Look out! Shouted his driver. Come back!
Oh no!
His driver.
You wonder where I was, Dax? I was on a different screen.
Right, and look out, shouted his driver.
Come back!
And then. Looks like I gotta spawn Wilbert again.
Oh my god, there's Wilbur.
But what if it said one of his first jobs in Cabo on Sodor was at the lead mine. And what if he had the line, "Stupid old board"?
Old board to come. There's no danger. There's no danger.
Then there's no danger. There's no danger.
Look out! Shouted his driver. Come back!
Oh no, Wilbur. Wait, where's Gabe?
Yeah, where even is he? There's Junior Denim.
What about Trevor?
I haven't texted him.
I was feeling drowsy, but don't worry, not.
Fire and smoke.
I'll go work.
I'm sunk, and he was.
But luckily, we can get him out like this. On this. Like this. We've got Wilbert to the other side. There's dark blue Wilbert.
Hey, Dax.
Yeah.
How often do you shave?
Once a week.
Which one?
On Friday nights.
No, what part do you shave?
My face.
Your face.
Yep. Well, now where are we going to spawn our Scotsman? Can't. The lead mines doesn't have any spawning there. We'll have to spawn him in here. And those coupling sounds. You need to give him a express head code. And then you're going to give him the Virgin livery. Looking like a new engine. Scotsman, back up. Let's see if we can turn him around this way. Well, we did turn him around. Real life, he'd be too long to turn around.
Can you make him apple green?
Here's what he looks like in apple green.
That's much better.
And yes, I will be using his red livery for a fan-made Totally Spies future episode for season 8. I should.
Why?
Because I want him to have more trains in it. Because more than just...
Why the fuck's gotta have a mustache?
Tom Toys designed him with one. Hey, Lord Joseph. There's the man himself for the stream.
So it's only gonna be just the two of us?
I don't know. I don't think that bridge is designed for Scotsman to go over because he's bumped.
What's gay was here?
Scotsman's good. What? Let's gonna go. I have to give him some coaches to pull because he's an express engine.
That's true.
Coaches. BR-TPO, BR Mark 1, BR-GUV, DMU.
Oh my god, yes.
Come on. We don't have all night, you know.
I'm getting so comfortable in my bed. I don't want to leave my bed. Wait a minute, Dax. I never asked you this. Have you ever had what was it? Yeah, the other had sugar-free ice cream.
Free ice cream?
No, sugar-free ice cream.
I think I have.
Well,
Like I had it from the grocery store Dillon's one time.
oh,
Because it was bought. Oh, and Sayori's also going to be here for for this stream, or sometimes I like to call it a centenary. And it's rolling stock. And there's Gabe.
Hello.
finally.
There's the abandoned Tidmouth. There's an old Tidmouth harbor. This all rusty and overgrown. So I guess this is the abandoned part of the line.
Mm-hmm.
But you can spawn engines there. We'll spawn... I think we might spawn Scotsman on the abandoned line. Change his head code. I need to contact Marathon Media or Banjay Kids Entertainment sometime and ask them if they could. And one of these should be called The Trains of Totally Spies. Maybe the one of their future episodes for season 8 should be a Dominique and Caitlin centric story of what happened to them after undercover supervillains. And one of their coming acrosses and their adventures would be called this future story idea would be called Whoop and the Flying Scotsman. And then from there came. I should have them from far away. And came a whistle. Oh, those who had a whistle. Oh, like now we're gonna be busted. We're gonna be surely busted. Move aside, my ladies, coming through. And as a big red engine with 2 tenders came clattering past, with British Rail Mark I mail carriages. Let's go to audio settings. Can't spawn rolling stock at the old Tidmouth. I'm gonna try Knapford Harbor. I'm gonna try to see if I can spawn some at Knapford Harbor. Now I did notice that Scotsman did bump when he was going along this bridge. No, he bumped as he was going along right there. Back up, Scotsman. Through the warehouse. The steam engines in this game use the big engine CGI puffing sounds. You know the sounds they emit from Gordon. There's even a function where you can give Scotsman his USA Tour configuration. Here's what his max speed is. And his timid face, insane. There's Flying Scotsman's insane face. I mean, just look at his eyes.
Oh my god.
Irritated. Embarrassed. Grimacing. Boy, who's Flying Scotsman trying to be like? Ferb? With those eyes? Because both are British. Through Henry's Forest. I think that has to be Henry's Forest. It's a 3-tracked viaduct. Come on now. Now look at this. There's a passage and beyond Wellsworth here. It looks like a tram line. Or a hidden part of the Magic Railroad. But unfortunately, you can't go beyond this part. That's where you get stuck. I actually like Flying Scotsman in Virgin Red. It makes him look very crisp and red, and very crisp and more colorful. They actually gave him a Virgin logo.
Which is kind of funny. Anyway, updated Percy.
Oh god. Updated Percy. And it's also funny, Gabe, that you get to see his insane face. He's trying to be like Ferb with those pupils. If you know what I mean, just look at how differently shaped the pupils look. And if we got an actual Scotsman face that was like that, he would be like, So everyone, what do you think of airline food? If you don't know what I mean, guys, be like, here's what Wisconsin be like. So everyone, what are your thoughts on airline food? Sarah again. There's airline. An airline. It's on airline food. I mean,
Wait,
just
I know
look
that
at
episode. That's the one that Perry got framed.
look at this.
That's the episode where
I mean,
Perry got framed by making a clone of him.
I mean, just look at Ferb's pupils. I mean, just look at.
I felt bad for him. He got framed because of Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
And look at this.
I know that because I know that episode.
Gilbert.
That's the episode where Perry got framed by Doofenshmirtz by making a clone of him.
Oh, wow.
Which is he made a doppelganger of Perry.
We're doing good, Gilbert. I mean, look at Ferb's pupils, Gabe. And now look at Scotsman's pupils. He's trying to be like Ferb if he actually said Ed.
So, how about that airline food?
Anyway, I just got something from my order. I just bought this one.
Wow, that's good. So here's what Scotsman would be like with this.
So, how about that airline food?
We've been doing the game, Gilbert. Gilbert, what are your thoughts on Flying Scotsman in red? In Virgin Red. Virgin Red, that is. He looks good in... yeah, he does look good in Virgin Red. And at the beginning, in this screen, it includes an amazing bop of Bill and Ben's theme. And I guess for Ruben, it's 98462, but as an Atlantic. Got this. Look at this. 98462 being an Atlantic. Look at this. 98462 with sharp teeth. Thumbin. Thumphin. The red reminds you of Lionel's Christmas trees. What are your thoughts on Lionel's Atlantics? They look good, Gilbert. So yeah, Isaiah, in Tom Toy's universe, 98462 is an Atlantic. And he has an arranged, and his theme is actually arranged here. So rather than it's a swing arrangement. I mean, just take a listen to it. Look at that, Isaiah and Gabe. It's official. Gilbert's mom bought the Lionel Peppermint Railroad 2524 Bookshire. It should be on the lookout for future videos on his channel. And now for the other man of the hour. The Diesel who turned 67 today.
Oh, God.
The steamer version of Boko is Alex. He's a very kind diesel. That was Boko's theme, Tom Toys Universe style. But also, for Boko's liveries, we get BR Green. The BR Green. And BR. We also get Boko in BR Blue. As for other steamer characters, Sophia, the CNO 080, she's the steamer version of Rosie. Great. Makes sense, Gilbert, since Sophia's already American like Rosie. I thought, to be honest, Gilbert does like Rosie in pink because her personality is like Basket from Egyptian mythology. She's the cat goddess who's like Anubis a lot. Wow. It's dark out, but so we need to turn Scotsman's lamps on. And also turn Boko's lamp on. They're gonna double head. Come on, Scotsman. Scotsman and Boko together for Railway 200. Flying Scotsman's theme. So Flying Scotsman uses a rendition of the Lone Ranger theme. I'm gonna switch him and Boko onto the middle track to show you where the line ends. There's Kronk. And it ends on a loop line. It ends on a loop right there. But there's an upper track that goes on a public road. Flying Scotsman and Boko are now on the streets. Oh, Boko derailed. Oh, yes, Boko. Flying Scotsman won't have his deflectors in the What If Totally Spies episode, Whoop and the Flying Scotsman. Oh, look, there's Boko the Gamer. Gamer Boko, look at it, Isaiah and Gilbert. Oh, another thing, question. What do I think of Halloween Thomas episodes from our old Thomas series? It'll be called Lost at the Scrapyard or James and the Haunted Line. Is it going to be like an abandoned part of Soder, Gilbert? Both of those episodes are re-uploads. Gamer Boko is peak, and it's the GOAT of this video. I need to get a remix of SA Music's theme for him up. So... Oh, it's on here. Like this. Actually, I gotta pitch it up right here. Respawn again. And I think we'll do Steam Age again. Because it also has Flying Scotsman in the special eras, which I did pay for with Robux. Let's be our Green Scotsman, which we're not going to do. We'll do this Scotsman since he's more recognizable. Alright, UP, if you say so. BNSF Horn. HVLA. Pretty good. We're still going too fast. But he doesn't crash. There's Flying Scotsman in nighttime weather and it's rainy. Next one is Southline Canadian Cab Units. Canadian National.
Another fallen. Something I never knew about thing to an SD40, which is the SD38, and it's a pretty big.
Anyways, we're going back to Scotsman through the storm. That's what I call it. Flying Scotsman and Boko threw us in a storm. Or go to Dermont Yard. Cambry Shed. Dermont Yard. There's Boko. Look at that. There's the real Boko. And look at the number. Because the number here.
Yeah.
Now I have Boko through a storm. Boko isn't as fast as Scotsman, but we know he can make it. And it looks like the rain has stopped. But the rails will be slippery. If you're interested in watching more 18th anniversary Thomas videos, I recommend watching my unboxing video of Soda Adventure Pack with the exclusive Thomas.
Oh.
I already saw that, Gilbert.
Well, I have seen it before. It was awesome.
I need to get that along with Classic Thomas. If I get Classic James, guys, I'm thinking of turning him into a custom, since he looks, as I said before, too fat and needs exercise. I thought it was great.
It was great.
Isaiah, what do you think of the unboxing video? Looks like it's going to transition into daylight again. We're gonna leave Boko, no, get Boko into there. And get Flying Scotsman again. Wrong theme. Actually, for Christmas, if you get the load and launch barrel delivery set, Thomas, you plan to mod it with the exclusive Thomas from the Amazon pack. Well, Gilbert, if I get that, I might use the chassis for a custom. For the chassis for that for a custom. If I get Classic James, I'll use that to make a custom 98462. Look at this, NDM. Look at this. That's Carlos of Mexico, guys. It's an American exports from Mexico. We finally saw Carlos the Mexican engine in real life. Flying Scotsman's real whistle here. Now he needs He needs more to base off the Flying Scotsman from America. The USA tour, you mean, UP? Looks like we're following another express train. Went through an Atlantic. It meets all the engines in person.
Locomotive on the list is
Flying
GG1
Scotsman's USA tour, UP. Look at that, Isaiah. We found footage from Flying Scotsman's USA tour.
1969. The reason for the GG1 appearance, steam locomotives were not permitted to operate within the tunnel seating the Penn Station, hence the need for an electric locomotive on the front. These towings, however, would be frequent because some states would consider the locomotive to be a quote-unquote fire hazard. As a result, there are a few locomotives that towed the Green Giant throughout the United States. We'll get to those in a bit. As for 4857, she was one of many GG1s ordered by the Pennsylvania Railroad, with a total of 139 of these iconic engines becoming the backbone for the Northeast Corridor for several decades. At the time of Scotsman's tour, the GG1s were under the ownership of the devastated Penn Central. For the GG1s, 4857 included, they were painted in the Penn Central's most obvious livery, black.
Whoa.
So, yeah, 4857 would tow the Flying Scotsman over Hell's Gate Bridge and into Penn Station, where she'd be on display. And 4857 wasn't the only GG1 to tow Scotsman, as fellow classmate number 4845 would tow a Scotsman from Baltimore all the way down to Washington, D.C. She arrived on the Pennsylvania Railroad in 1935 and had a similar career to 4857. The GG1s would continue into the 1970s, with some sold off to Amtrak, Conrail, and New Jersey Transit, respectively. Both 4845 and 4857 would both be sold to Conrail, and handled freight trains for a few years until electric operations ended in 1981, resulting in the GG1s being retired.
Wow. We'll get back after the ad's done. Got class 15 right there. Class 37. Look, there's a diesel brake tender. A British Railways diesel, but it has to go on the front. the WD Austerity 280, which would be a much more fitting basis for Samson. I'm gonna try the trams. Top speed of this tram is 45 miles per hour. Now's Flying Scotsman USA
1969.
tour.
The Flying Scotsman arrives in Atlanta, Georgia, where he is greeted to another Pacific, the Savannah Atlanta 750. It was built in 1910 by Alco and originally served for the Florida East Coast on passenger trains and even across the infamous Flagler's Folly.
750.
However, with the railroad suffering hurricane damage in 1935, various locomotives were sold off. 750 was number 80 by the Florida East Coast, would be sold off to the Savannah Atlanta and lived a lengthy career hauling passenger trains. She would join the Southern Steam program in 1968, and during the time of this, 750 and Scotsman were planned to participate in the Southern Steamorama event in Anniston, Alabama, to celebrate 75 years of the Southern. The two locomotives would be running behind each other and taking turns on being in front for rail fans. So essentially, one would park in the siding to let the other one pass. So essentially a nice opportunity for photographing, huh? Upon reaching the event, they were greeted with the Queen of the Southern Steam Program, 4501. It's no secret people know about the Mikado. 4501 was the
4501.
first of the road's MS-class Mikados, of which 182 were constructed. She in particular was built in 1911 by Baldwin and served the Southern hauling freight trains. She would be retired in 1948 and be sold to the Kentucky and Tennessee Railway for continued use on coal trains. She would then be retired in 1964 when diesels took over the coal operations. After some time, she would be welcomed into the Southern Steam program and became the most recognizable locomotive of the fleet. All three locomotives would be on display for 2 hours at the Anniston Yard, attracting tens of thousands of people far and wide to see these spectacular locomotives on display. With the festivities over, the two Southerners aided farewell as the Flying Scotsman departs south for Dallas. The next year, politics and changes were made to Scotsman's schedule, now with plans of making the journey towards Canada for the CNE, or the the X. But to start off, the Flying Scotsman would make its journey across the Midwestern United States, touching Green Bay and then coming back down to Chicago. On July 7th, 1970, she would arrive at the Windy City, which she was put on stack display at the Dearborn Station. The locomotive pictured here is Chicago and Indiana Western 263, one of 12 Alco RS-1s used by the railroad. 263 was the last RS-1 to arrive on the railroad, being built in February 1950. She spent her life handling passenger trains in and out of Chicago on a daily basis. However, the unit's careers would come to a close once Amtrak would take over operations on the passenger trains in the U.S. As a result, Dearborn Station primarily managed Amtrak trains only, as Chicago and Western Indiana's purpose was no longer needed.
Well, it's on to the buses. She's heading to Canada. I would like Flying Scotsman to just to come to Canada again, or Mallard. Mind the Atlantic. The loco he encountered in the U.S.
1970. Flying Scotsman arrived in Toronto to be displayed at the CNE. It was based at the Canadian National Spadina Yard for the event. On arriving, it would be displayed alongside an MLW F-13 and an own spoon team in 2018. This bulky locomotive was a 222 Northern, built in 1942 locomotive. It primarily been following express passenger trains between Winnipeg and Halifax on a daily basis in their prime. The train would be retired in 19 before he had the second chance in life while he's been Canadian National after the Anita display. Scotsman would make his way down to Montreal. He would be towed by another team, this one being number 8501. 8501, 8522, and 8513 were built in 1959 by the Montreal Locomotive Works, with a total of 49 produced for Canadian National. They spent their time as yard switchers and station pilots in places like Toronto or Montreal in their later years, and were used for assisting trains sometimes. September 18th, 1970. Flying Scotsman would be a part of a photo shoot of the Canadian National, alongside 6218 again, a diesel locomotive, and the new turbo train. A lineup of locomotives that you'll never see again. Let's go into some detail about these two. First, the diesel. 2302 is a Montreal Locomotive Works M636, being the Canadian equivalent to the Alco C636. She was built in the spring of 1970, so at the time of this image, she was one of the recent new locomotives CN had purchased and was to symbolize CN's newest freight locomotives that would be used nationwide. In total, 185 of these were produced for multiple railroads, with CN taking 40 units in total. Now for the interesting one. This isn't the first time Scotsman ran to a turbo train, as he did encounter one while he was in the Northeast. The turbo train was first developed by the United Aircraft Company in 1967, with 7 train sets being constructed in total. CN purchased 5 turbo train sets in 1969
3
to be displayed
Canadian
in Toronto and
locomotives.
Montreal. However, they were set back due to technical problems and brake
It
systems being
failed.
vulnerable to cold weather because Canada. This resulted in the train sets being suspended early in their service life. By the time the image was taken, the turbo train was 4 months in its return service life, only to be thrown back into purgatory 5 months later. So, yeah.
Another ad. And I got Scotsman in the USA tour configuration again.
So you got an Englishman, a Canadian steam queen, a modern workhorse, and a dysfunctional bullet on wheels. Quite a funky lineup, if you ask me. In 1971, the Flying Scotsman would make a last-ditch effort for money, as it would begin a long trek from Toronto to San Francisco to participate in the British Week that was being held in Fisherman's Wharf. However, when touching the mountain territory, railroads were hesitant to allow Scotsmen to lead through the mountains. So as a result, diesels from the Burlington Northern and the Western Pacific were slapped onto the front to lead Scotsmen to California. One of these has been photographed as seen here. This unit is Burlington Northern number 6506, an EMD SC45, who was built in the same year the final tour was taking. So another fresh locomotive meeting the Green Giant. Huh. The SC45s were introduced in 1965, and while sales for them were good, they were let down from engine issues. The BN did have SC-45s from not only themselves, but Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy, Northern Pacific, and the Great Northern. The 6506 is factory fresh as it arrived a year after BN was created. Fast forward to September, Flying Scotsman would be displayed at the Fisherman's Wharf for the British Week, being the most popular attraction there. Unfortunately, following the restaurants filing complaints for Scotsman's placement blocking their sea view and taking up parking spaces like a badass punk, the Western Pacific would move the locomotive away from the
Everyone
Fisherman's
got a
Wharf and
fresh
into a
painted
nearby
unit.
rail yard. The locomotive seen here is one of the Western Pacific's many GP9s. This one in particular is number 732. Built in September 1955 and lived a decent career into the days of the Union Pacific and ending up in the Midwest on the Iowa Interstate. Following a few journeys across the San Francisco State Belt, Alan Pegler would move the Flying Scotsman to the U.S. Army Sharp Depot in Lathrop, California, to keep it hid away from liquidators. The train would be towed by another Western Pacific diesel, this time being another young engine, that being U-23B number 2260. She was built in June 1972 in the 15-unit order, and similar 732, she would last a while on the Union Pacific, but she ended up being sold to Monongahela after being rebuilt into a Super 7 by General Electric, where she lasted for a few years hauling coal trains. But more on that later. Nonetheless, this would be the last locomotive that would interact with Flying Scotsman, as he would be hidden away collecting rust, and as they say, the rest is history. Flying Scotsman was returned back to the UK next year following Sir William McAlpine, may he rest in peace, purchasing the locomotive. He returned to steam and continues to pull trains into his 100th birthday. His US tour is the most
Wow. Where's Isaiah?
Don't know.
Isaiah, are you still there? Yep, it is under furry. Isaiah, are you there?
Oh, sorry about that.
There you are.
Where'd he go?
He had to leave, I believe. Had to leave, leave. Anyway, I could think of a worse incident for Flying Scotsman than what we got 2 years ago. For some days after
yeah, I remember that. I remember the accident where Flying Scotsman crashed into a buffet coach. Maybe that's
like even though it looked more, even though it was more of a big bump.
Wait, did that one scene from Henry
look
the
at this.
predicted?
Here's a worse incident for him. Here's what a worse.
Did that one scene from Henry and the Wishing Tree from season 8?
I think it did.
The Flying Scotsman's incident. Well, I guess Thomas had predicted the future.
Well, Gabe, I can think of a worse Flying Scotsman incident than that.
Derailing off a set of points. Or falling off a bridge, I don't really know.
Or even better, plunging into the Scrappy here.
Oh. Anyway, I must get going.
Okay. Right. See, so. If there's a worse Flying Scotsman incident like this instrument than what we got 2 years ago, it would be this. But what we got 2 years ago was this. Under tie off to the or other Flying Scotsman crashes would be this animation. Shouldn't we forget this moment? Error Rowie number 3's whistle and Pierre Marquette's puffing sound. This one, I don't think should happen in real life. But why? No! Not Flying Scotsman, no! Oh, not the Flying Scotsman! I don't think that should ever happen. Not even this. Well, anyway, that has to conclude tonight's stream. What was your guys' favorite part about it? The Flying Scotsman crashes just now, the Tom Toys gameplay, the Steam Age gameplay, me talking to Gilbert, or anything else? Or any of the Boko and Flying Scotsman themes? Join me again next time where I'm going to be live for not only for 90 years of the Silver Jubilee, another LNER Express train, but also this Totally Spies character birthday, Clover's mom, Stella Ewing. This has been James and Sailor Jupiter Fan 2001 saying happy birthday to Boko the Diseasel, 2 years of Flying Scotsman's accident, and I'll see you tomorrow.